This is the BBC.
This podcast is supported by advertising outside the UK.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite show? Good news. Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Just head to amazon.com/ad-free lifestyle to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. Enjoy thousands of Acast shows ad-free for Prime subscribers. Some shows may have ads.
This podcast is brought to you by eHarmony. Finding someone who gets you is hard, right? You're not alone. That's because we're human. And there's a lot of different humans out there. Which is why eHarmony's personality-based dating app helps you find someone you can be your whole self with. Someone you can be fully comfortable with. That's what true connection and compatibility are all about. Being seen, heard, understood. When you match based on personality, you're already one step ahead when it comes to getting to know one another. So try eHarmony and get started today for free. eHarmony. Get who gets you.
BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
72 Plus on the Football Daily Podcast with Aaron Paul.
Hello everybody, welcome along to 72 Plus, the home of the EFL from BBC Radio 5 Live. With me as ever, Jobi McAnuff, my partner in crime. And also joining us this week is the new Forest Green Rovers head coach, Troy Deeney. Troy, before we come to you, Jobi, what's this I hear about you going on a spa day? We don't exfoliate on this show.
Well, I've got to say, the missus done really well for me. I thought it was just going to be dressing gown and socks for Christmas, but she's pulled out a little day trip to the spa. Lovely thought. Get there, get surprised by a friend of ours. He's a personal trainer. So I'm there thinking I'm going to go and have a nice chilled out day, you know, jacuzzi, sauna, all that stuff. And first things first, he's like, right, we're going in the gym. And I'm like, nah, mate, like, I'm here just to chill. And the weird thing is, my missus kept saying to me, bring your gym stuff. But she didn't say we were going with this other couple. Get there, then I find out he's there. So first thing in the morning, he's like, right, let's get down. I'm like, I can't leave him. So I've kind of bent on that one, like 10:30 in the morning, should be lying down. I'm there in the gym. Then he's on, I've booked a cryotherapy session. I'm like, nah, mate, like, you've got this all wrong here. Like, I'm not looking to stand in a freezer today. Look, I'm the complete opposite. Hot tub, warm bubbles, that's me. And I was just like, nah, I can't do that, mate. So I bent on the gym. Other than that, that was it. I sort of managed to kick back, relax and chill out. I've done enough ice baths and all that sort of stuff during my career when I had to. Ice
baths weren't en vogue when you were in the pomp of your playing career. It was more like a wheelie bin full of water and random bits of ice.
Cheeky.
It's true though, isn't it? It is true.
I did a few wheelie bins, but I will have you know, towards the end, ice baths were very much in vogue, and that was a bit of a shame because I absolutely hated them. They are the worst things ever designed in football, and actually one of the reasons I retired.
Let's welcome our special guest, co-host on this show. I feel like we should sort of take it a step up and go for like Radio 4 style, like guest editor. Guest editor this week is Troy Deeney. Troy, great to have you with us. Just to comment on Jobi's situation and his thoughts on relaxation. I reckon his missus is putting him through pre-season there. She wants to see if she can get him a club this January.
I'll be honest with you, like all men, we know we get bullied at home. We try and act like we don't, but he's basically just been told, listen, we're going here, do as you're told. Get down there, get in the gym. And look, he looks in good nick, Jobi, but he likes to just relax, no stress. That's why he keeps a good look. That's why he's got no wrinkles, look.
It's because I'm not doing what you're doing anymore. I got out just in time, mate. I've got a few too many greys. The wrinkles were coming. I thought, nah, this is me done. So I'll leave that to you now, Troy. You can crack on with that, mate.
How's life at Forest Green?
Well, I'm still here. It's good, mate. It's good fun trying to figure out the never-ending puzzle. And, fix one piece and three more pieces fall out. So you've got to try and keep thinking and try to think on your feet. But all in all, it's a great experience.
Are you bored of the vegan questions yet?
Nah, like it's not even that bad. I don't know why people think like everyone's vegan just because the owner's vegan. It's what the club stand for, it's what their ethos is, and it's great. And obviously, the electric cars and all that are nice. You'll see me in my electric car just running around, but it ain't that bad, man.
Tell us about the electric car.
I'm not going to sound good by saying it either way. So I've got the Porsche Taycan. It's an electric car, but it's nice. It's quick. It moves well. I have broke down in it twice because I thought
what happened?
Nah, do you know, like when you get to the end of, like, you know, when you get like a petrol car, it gets a little yellow light in it, it's like reserves. That's about 50 miles in my other car. So I'm like, but it says 0. I was like, does it really say 0? it really means zero. And then one time I was like 2 miles from the house, and I was like, yeah, this will be fine. It'll coast back. It stops, boy. So we've had to call out a few recovery vans and like wait for them to get. But basically, all it comes down to is poor prep, and I'm a lazy you-know-what. That's it. And I try and push my luck. But other than that, it's world class.
Viva la diesel, as I say, Troy. Tell me about coming into this football club, because the Wimbledon manager, Johnny Jackson, always tells me about a club that's relegated from League One and what it's like trying to find your feet again in League Two, maybe coming off the back of a disappointing... Well, always relegation is disappointing, but coming off the back of a disappointing season, trying to arrest that slump, turn it around and start moving in an upward trajectory is one of the most difficult jobs in football.
Yeah, so for me coming in, I came in like August. So when I came in, I got sold project, what they want to do, new stadium, blah, blah, blah. But it was more of it was a pathway into management. Now, I didn't think I'd be doing it 3 or 4 months later, but obviously the opportunity presented itself. And I remember speaking to Job about it, and I was saying, like, you're never ready, but be ready kind of thing. And that was where I was at. But to answer your question, when I came in, they lost 31 games last year. Rob Elliott moved the year before to Watford under difficult circumstances. The chief exec moved to Portsmouth, and you lost like all the connective tissue as to what got the players up the first time from League Two. So for me, I think it's been trying to find the identity again, trying to re-establish who and what they are. We understand that from an ownership point of view, as you said, the vegan club, the sustainable club, all of those wonderful things. But from a playing side, who is Forest Green? What are they? Are they a technically gifted team, or are they a team that goes and battles and you don't really want to play against? They were somewhere in between. Half were trying to do one, half was trying to do another. And I think they went 4 managers in a couple of years, as opposed to that before. I think there were 2 managers in 10 years. So, for me, it's been about changing that culture and reshifting it to get it forward.
Is there any chance of you getting the boots back on? I mean, I've looked at some of the goals you've conceded, particularly late on. Maybe a lack of leadership, maybe a lack of organisation. It's hard to do that from the touchline. As much as people say, it's the managers, being actually out there in the middle, on the battlefield, sort of pulling people around physically, which we have to do sometimes. Is there a chance that that's happening? Or are you saying, no, for now, this is me. I need to focus on Troy Deeney, the manager, versus the player manager, maybe?
Every day is a different answer, if I'm being totally honest with you. Looking at the squad that we've got available for Harrogate at the weekend, it's like, maybe stick the boots on and go on the bench. And similar to, like I say, you keep making childish mistakes at the moment. Once or twice you'd be like, okay, they're learning. But over the course of the season, this is probably 10, 11 times. So it's, having to look at doing that. I'm still keeping fit. That's the hardest part. You probably do that. Trying to do all of the coaching, getting in early, sorting it out, organising, planning, and then it's like, oh, by the way, you've got to get fit as well. So that's been the hardest part. But all in all, mate, I would honestly say I haven't had enough time to really consider it. As you know, I've been in 2 weeks, it's been crazy. Yeah.
Is it always difficult trying to separate that part of Troy, one of the lads, to Troy, now the gaffer?
No, we nipped that in the bud day one. You have to put a real definitive line between the two. So I'm not even that precious about it, but we made a decision, me and the coaching staff, that it'd be gaffer from now on. I'm not really that precious by it. I think when, I'm going to sound really egotistical, but when you've got the personality that I've got, I demand respect anyway. So if you call me Troy, Sir, Gaffer, whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as you respect me, I'm going to demand that kind of respect anyway. But we thought that was the easiest way to clearly define it. So from now on, it's Gaffer. The first day we had 2 fines because a couple of people kept saying Troy.
You can't fire them for that, Troy. Come on, man. I mean, that is harsh. You know what?
Set the rules straight away.
No, listen, it's interesting because I was exactly the same. And like when you've been in a dressing room with these players, there is that tendency to keep that sort of, banter or those you have to say, no, look, I'm the gaffer. I've got to say, I gave them a couple of days grace. Come on, Troy. I mean, they're so used to calling you Troy.
Different people. That's why you're always on set and I'm still working.
That is harsh, mate.
It's more of just saying that from day one, there's change. There's no 100%. More. And when I say fines, it was a couple of cakes, bring some cakes and that kind of thing. You weren't monetary.
Let's push on, because Birmingham City have named their replacement for Wayne Rooney. The former Sunderland boss, Tony Mowbray, is the new Blues boss. He signed a 2.5-year deal at St Andrews, and he joins us now. Tony, congratulations on the new gig. Really just pleased to have you back so quickly.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Delighted to be back. I think, it came out of the blue. We're planning on taking the wife to abroad, and she's not too happy that I've taken this job, but I'm delighted to be back. I think I spoke to the owner from the USA. He's the enthusiasm of what he's talking about and where he wants to take it and what he wants to do is it's really exciting. So it's a great club, great history, and here I am. Let's see if we can get it going and pointing back in the right direction, and see if we can get the team connected back to the sport base and push on.
You talk about ambition and the ambition from the owner. This isn't an SOS job then?
Not for me. I'm a football nut, really. I took on Coventry City because, as a young guy, I sat and watched the 87 Cup final and the diving header from Keith Ouchin. I just love footy. And my teams, I've probably been inspired by the 1970 World Cup, the first coloured telly we had, and I watched Brazil in 1970 and them hazy pictures from Mexico, the romance, really. So Birmingham City, Trevor Francis, really. Sorry, Troy, but Trevor Francis is what sort of connected me with Birmingham City, and I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to the challenge. It's the second city. I like the humour of the people. I like the fans. I like the place. I like the Midlands. I've been at West Brom. I've been at Coventry. Let's see how it goes. I've worked 3 days with the team. They're okay. I just try to give them a bit of confidence, a bit of belief. So much, as I said, let's see if we can get it going.
How bad is Rob's food, the chef? And how bad is his accent? That's what I need to know.
I mentioned in the press conference today that the food, I think, is amazing at this football club.
So good at it.
Unbelievable how the choices you get. You get your raw bits of fish here and the raw bit, and they cook them for you and they turn them over and then you get all the fruit and the choices is unbelievable, I would suggest. I thought at my previous club that the kitchens and stuff were good, and at Blackburn the chef was amazing, but here it is unbelievable, the food. Them little things, they pointed in that the club are moving in the right direction. I'm pretty sure it can't have always been this good, but they are investing in the food and the nutrition of the players. It's a start, and I'm sitting here thinking, right, if everything else can get to the level, they're going to give themselves a real chance.
Just in terms of your remit, I suppose we heard a lot of noise around Wayne Rooney's appointment in terms of a style of football. Is there anything that has been asked specifically of you, other than just trying to move the club back in the right direction, because it really has been in free fall, or maybe where that longer term end point is in terms of the club's ambitions?
No, I think there's nobody sitting above me telling me we have to do this, we have to do that, really. It doesn't have to be one specific type of game. I think they know. From Hibernian to West Bromwich Albion to all the clubs I've managed, really, I like technical footballers. I like technical players. I want players to be able to receive the ball, use their body, play forward, play around the corner, run forward, create chances, score goals. That my starting point. And yet I was going to say a big daft centre-half. I was a centre-half who went in and kicked it, really. And so I understand that part of the game as well. You have to have physicality. You have to be strong. You have to defend. But I would like to try and get to the point where we have a lot of good technical players and we can dominate games and territorially play in the opposition half and have more shots and more touches in the opposition box. I think this club is going to be in a much, much better position in the summer, and hopefully we can fill the club full of good footballers and hopefully move forward.
Logistically, how does this work for you, the family, moving about? Because Sunderland to Birmingham, it's quite a commute. I presume you're not going to be doing that. Are you ready to settle down in the second city?
Well, listen, I live on Teesside. I live in the Middlesbrough area. That's where I was born and bred. And my family, they'll be staying on Teesside. It was a big decision for me, really. The wife was thinking she was going to New York next week, and now I'm here. She has to do the school run. So she understands. It's in my blood. She knows what I do. And this was too good an opportunity to turn down, to be honest. Listen, we've been married 20-odd years now. We're strong enough and tight enough, and the kids understand. They'll actually love coming down and going to the Bull Ring and spending money in Selfridges. My
Love that.
new trainers will be what will get them by. They'll survive. Don't worry.
Tony, when you're ready for a curry or mixed grill, I'll look after you. I'll take you out. Don't worry about that. I'll take you somewhere good.
There's a house at the top of the hill, mate, that's going for sale. I don't know who's selling it, but there's one at the top of the hill.
I'll have a look.
We'll look after you, Tony. Thank you for joining us on 72 Plus. Really appreciate your time. Again, just so glad to see you back out there doing your thing. Can't wait to see what you do at Blues.
Thank you very much. Respect to you all. Thank you. Take care.
Go well, mate.
See you soon, mate.
Bye-bye.
There you go. Tony Mowbray, Birmingham City boss, with us here on 72 Plus, the home of the EFL from 5 Live. Joby, I love him.
I think the EFL and football in general needs him. You know, I think he has fantastic football teams that play. Now, I like to call it's interesting, actually. Maybe they made the wrong appointment, you know, when they got Wayne Rooney, because they talk about that no-fear football. When I looked at his Sunderland team last year, that's exactly what they played. You know, they played a brand, a style that was exciting, got bodies forward, wanted to keep the ball, and he will certainly do that. I think he's completely underrated. In fact, probably one of the most underrated managers. You know, you look at his last job, I remember speaking to him during his time at Sunderland. He had young players coming, a lot of them don't even speak the language, so it's hard enough trying to coach and manage, you know, and you can't get your instructions over firsthand. He's having to do that. And then also Blackburn, I thought he was harshly treated there given the situation and, you know, how well he did with that squad as well. So, listen, fantastic to see him back. It's a club that seemed to be heading in the right direction. I hope he can get it right and we start seeing some improvement in their results.
Troy, is it going to be 13th time lucky for Blues? Chris Hughton, Lee Clark, Gary Rowett, Franco Zola, Harry Redknapp, Steve Cottrell, Gary Monk, Pep Clotet, Aitor Karanka, Lee Bowyer, John Eustace, Wayne Rooney. For your beloved Blues, this is huge.
Yeah, it's my team, but more importantly, I think he was the appointment you needed. Like the ideas and the fundamentals of where Wayne wants to get to, you need a Tony Mowbray before you get to that. You need someone that coaches them, that drills them, and then Wayne comes in and tweaks it, not comes in and builds it. So the way I would say that is like building a house and starting on the roof. That's what they did with Wayne Rooney. Gave him a great coaching staff with all the lads there, Ashley and John and everyone that was in. But you don't have the players to do it. And from what I read and listened and talked from Tony there is that it's got to be a building process. He's got to use the people he's got, i.e. the Luka Šukovićes. Why not use him? He's one of the best headers of the ball in the Championship. Get the crosses into the box. That's not his style of play towards the end of it. But for right now, with what he's got, why not use it and win games and get the crowd on side? That's what I took from what he just said anyway.
Birmingham's first game under Tony Mowbray is on Saturday against Swansea City, who themselves are also under new management. Luke Williams has left League Two Notts County behind to become the new man in at Swansea.
I've had experience with this club already, and I know how fantastic it is. You know, when the chairman drives to your house and spend 3 hours in your living room with passion, explain everything that he wants to achieve, is very, very difficult to turn down. And after that, I was so excited, and this is a perfect move. I've managed in all the different levels. I'm going to tick off the Premier League, hopefully.
Joby, someone wise once said that patience attracts happiness, and I reckon that Swansea fans are very happy with this acquisition because this appointment is brilliant.
Yeah, it makes sense on every level, really, that you can think of. From Swansea's point of view, somebody who, again, knows the club, knows the identity. We talk a lot about that on this pod, and actually, in terms of clubs, Troy's touched on it, maybe Forest Green have lost that identity, certainly the one that got them so much success. But whoever the manager is at Swansea, we know how those fans want to see their football teams. We know what the expectation is. And if they want a man to come in and play brilliant football, you know, pleasing on the eye, heavily possession-based, this is the man to do it. He's done such a good job at Notts County. It just feels like a really good fit.
With Swansea, they took a month between sacking Michael Duff and appointing Luke Williams as their manager. This appointment, though, was crucial for them in losing in losing their manager in the summer and losing Russell Martin in the summer. They lost someone who wasn't just a manager. He was a face around the club. He'd go and interact with people. Everyone knew him. It was like Cheers. Everybody knew his name. You know, people go around, they'd talk to him, and he was very, very vocal in what happened around the football club, not just on the pitch. But he also played a style of football. In Michael Duff, a lot more of a reserved character, someone who's not shy, but isn't a talker like Russell Martin. In Luke Williams, it feels as though they found themselves a talker once again. So that plus good football and hopefully some resources, and Swansea could have a recipe for success potentially.
Absolutely. Obviously played against his teams this year at Notts County as well, so has a clear identity of what he wants to do. What this says to me from Swansea's point of view is lessons learned. I think they've realised that Russell Martin was their type of manager. I think when you look back through the history, Brendan and people like that, Roberto Martinez, those kind of big characters, anyone who's been in the EFL has played there. It's a difficult place to go. They play really good football and the pitch is big, it's crisp and the fan bases get onto you. And normally you get attacked by the window, but as soon as you get off the bus, that hits you hard. So it's always been quite a daunting place to go. I think they lost a bit of that this year, and I think this is a place of lessons learned. Let's go and get somebody that we can build with over a 6-month period.
Shout out, by the way, to the Swansea media team, and in particular, Sophie Davis, who is world class at what she does. Jobs is nodding along. The Luke Williams announcement on socials with pictures of him signing a fake contract were absolutely brilliant. Because I'm guilty of it. Anytime I see someone put a contract 100%. On the table when it comes to football, I'll always try and zoom in and see what it is. But their terms included being the legal guardian of Cyril and Sybil the Swan. You must agree to a Luke Skywalker announcement video, and you must provide snacks to the media team for every away game. Good luck, Luke. Enjoy the contract. Well done to the Swansea media team for that.
The winter transfer window is braving the British weather and is wide open once again.
More drama, more twists, more turns.
I am Kay Curd, and every weekday throughout January I'll be joined by Luke Edwards and some of the country's best football journalists to dissect the day's transfer rumours.
From BBC Radio 5 Live, the Transfer Gossip Daily Podcast.
Who will your team buy, sell, loan, or even just be heavily linked with, only to lose out to your rivals?
What will happen next?
Keep up to date with all the comings and goings straight from the rumour mill with the Transfer Gossip Daily Podcast. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This podcast is brought to you by eHarmony. Finding someone who gets you is hard, right? You're not alone. That's because we're human. And there's a lot of different humans out there. Which is why eHarmony's personality-based dating app helps you find someone you can be your whole self with. Someone you can be fully comfortable with. That's what true connection and compatibility are all about. Being seen, heard, understood. When you match based on personality, you're already one step ahead when it comes to getting to know one another. So try eHarmony and get started today for free. eHarmony. Get who gets you.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite show? Good news. Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Just head to amazon.com/ad-free-family to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. Enjoy thousands of Acast shows ad-free for Prime subscribers. Some shows may have ads.
72 Plus on the Football Daily Podcast with Aaron Paul.
Guess what, Jobs? Guess what?
Another new manager.
We've got another new manager, that's right. Plymouth Argyle have named former England under-20 manager Ian Foster as their head coach. He was working as Steven Gerrard's number 2 at Al Ettifaq in Saudi Arabia. Chairman Simon Hallett has talked about Ian being the perfect candidate for the next 5-year mission. Now, I don't know about you, Joby, but when I sit and I listen to Simon Hallett, I believe him because they have this track record at this football club for finding coaches, polishing them up. And I mean, yes, they lose them. It's a bit sad, but they do lose them. But you know what I mean. He can spot a head coach. Has he done it again?
Well, again, I'll go back to a profile and a type, and it is exactly what they have gone for previously. So certainly from that point of view, you know, I think it's an exciting appointment. You know, you might look at, has he got Football League experience? But neither did Stephen Schumacher, and what a job he did. Ryan Lowe was, you know, had a bit of experience, you know, previously at Bury, but still a young manager at the time. I think, again, it comes back to what a club represents and what you expect from a football club. What they do and what they will do is give him time, which is not afforded to a lot of other managers, regardless of how they start the season or start his tenure, I should say. I think what he's been given is the rest of this season really to obviously ensure they're not going to get dragged down into any trouble, but to go and impose his style, you know, his way of doing things, and then maybe look to to kick on past that. But it is a football club that gives young managers an opportunity. You look at their recruitment in the summer, Morgan Whittaker, what he's doing and what they paid for him. It was a fantastic signing. Yes, it was a record signing for them, but again, a player with a massively high ceiling that they're going to go on and sell at some point. And it's exactly the same with coaches. We give them opportunity, come in, do well. Yes, there's a chance that we're going to lose them, but there is a succession plan in place for that. And I think that's something that you have to give everyone at Plymouth Argyle credit for. And he seems like, and speaking to Stephen, a real dream to work for.
You look at the players that Plymouth have in their squad and you look at the way they're recruiting and you look at his track record of bringing through certain players. I think he looked after Callum Wilson and James Maddison at Coventry City. When I'm a Morgan Whittaker who is flying and has been a great player, and I still don't understand why it didn't work for him at Swansea. But when I look at a Morgan Whittaker, someone like a Bally Mumba, Finazaz, of course, plays for Middlesbrough now, which is disappointing because I would have loved to have seen how Finazaz got on underneath him. But when I look at players like these guys, and I think, a Ryan Hardy can thrive in a system formed by Ian Foster, and the coaching element of it is huge. We never ever talk about the quality of coaching needed. It's not just about going and buying players. It's about harnessing them, building them, and making some money for your football club as well. This is how we're going to end up with sustainability in the Football League.
Absolutely, but I think Job touched on it. It's the identity of the club throughout. So if manager A comes in, the player type doesn't change, the model doesn't change. So if the manager comes in and plays 4-3-3, 5-3-2, 4-4-2, whatever system you want to put in, the player type will always be the same. So whenever there's a remit, I'm sure they will sit and talk and be like, okay, what's your style of play? But the fundamentals will be, well, have we recruited towards that? Is it completely different to what we want? And B, does it really work with all of it together? And I think when you look at the players that they've brought through on a consistent basis, yes, it's really good and really difficult for the coaches, but ask any coach, Job, I'm trying to do it now. Recruitment is the biggest part for any performance success. You can be the best manager in the world that's ever lived, but if you don't have the players to do it, you're going to struggle. And I think, for as much as, yes, the coaches are going in there are doing really well, the recruitment team at Plymouth and the management and the ownership all deserve a credit because it's clearly all aligned from top to bottom.
Now, a few shocks in the FA Cup last weekend and also a big shock in League One as Cheltenham came from behind to beat leaders Portsmouth 2-1. Head coach Darryl Clark said it was the best result of his tenure at the football club. Now, they're still in the relegation zone, but I love what he's doing there because it was a really tough job.
A tough job. God, man, if you're talking about Mission Impossible in the Football League, this was it. And what he's done is given a football club who was pretty much, cast aside, looking at how they're going to get a goal, let alone a point or a win at the start of the season. We cannot forget how badly they started the season. And, for him to take it on, I remember him coming on the show and his positivity just shines through. I can imagine him walking through the door and the players just going, yes, we've got a gaffer who's going to come in, he's going to get us going. But the job that he's done since, when you look at, the win the other day against Portsmouth really sums it up. The top of the table team, to go and be brave enough to really go and take them on, in terms of the run they're on now. I can't put it past them. They're 3 points now from safety. I've looked at some numbers. The last 10 games are averaging 1.5 points per game. So for a team down the bottom of the table, that is a fantastic return. If they keep that on for the rest of the season, it would take them above 50 points. When looking at some of the other teams down there, you'd have to say that would be safety. So listen, he's got Liam Sercombe going. It's real experience. I think that's what he's really gone in and tapped into. We've spoken about that. If you've got that at your club, use it. He knows the football club. He'll get round the rest of the players, producing some goals for him, big moments recently. And yeah, he's just done a fantastic job and, really pleased for him with everything that he's had to deal with on and off the pitch, that he's having the results that probably many thought it might be difficult for him to get.
Just sticking in League One, there's another damning article that's come out in The Athletic about Reading. Jobs, we've mentioned them so much this season. So much going on there. Assistant manager Andrew Sparks and director of player development Eddie Niedzwiecki have been made redundant in a restructuring of Ruben Sellers' back room. Players are eating microwave meals. There are cold working conditions. There's redundancies. The takeover's not happening. Or it's stalling. I know someone who's been on the inside who says that it's a real struggle to try and get communication in and out of the club with regards to a potential takeover. We are in full crisis club territory, Jobi.
Yeah, we are. And it's such a shame because, like, the football side of it is clearly something that is horrible to see in terms of the slide. You know, the fans are, you know, having to deal with situations. But when you look at my time at Reading, it was always a football club that treated people the right way. You know, whether you were a fan, whether you were the chef, whether you were, you know, the kit man, whoever it was, whether you were the star player, everyone was on a level. Everyone understood what the club was about. And for me, that is the saddest thing when I look at Reading. That has been lost. You know, the way that they're treating people, you know, they went and did all the redundancies in the academy just before Christmas. You know, and I'm like, come on. I mean, realistically, could you not have waited? I know they're going to say we haven't got money, we haven't got this, we haven't got... And the way that hierarchy is treating employees of that football club is nothing short of embarrassing. You know, it is just an absolute disgrace.
We trained there, I want to say 2 months ago, and the facilities, it's Prem level. It's really top level. So where's the disconnect come for somebody that doesn't know too much from outside really looking in?
Yeah, well, again, basically what it's come down to, I suppose this is one of the issues when people talk about, you know, financial fair play. If you've got a single benefactor, in this case there is a brother and a sister there, but is funding and overfunding and getting the club into serious debt. They've overpaid on salaries and transfer fees for a long time. Eventually, if you don't get to it was all a gamble to get to the Premier League. And actually, when you look at where they finished in the league during his tenure and have finished, they're actually nowhere near it, really, apart from, you know, one season. So again, it's like they've gambled. It hasn't worked. Now it's a case of, is he just fed up? Does he not want to put any money in? There are people that are interested in buying the club, but by all accounts, he now wants way above what the value is. Yes, there's a fantastic training ground, lovely stadium, but in terms of someone who's going to come in and buy the club, at the end of the day, does that make the value of the club what he's saying it is? And I don't think it does at the moment.
Let's drop into League Two. New managers again everywhere. I spoke to Steve Morrison earlier this week. He's replaced Matt Gray at Sutton United. Really good to have him back in the EFL. He can't wait to get going. Carl Robinson is in at Salford City, sent off in his first game inside 20 minutes. Welcome back, Carl. But wanted to pick up on Danny Cowley to Colchester. The Cowleys are back. More mates of ours, Jobi. I don't know how we do it. We have got the best contacts book in the industry. He's in to replace Matty Etherington. It was a really difficult time for Matty. And the Cowleys are, wow, that's an upgrade.
Well, listen, I think they have certainly made it clear, and Danny has done in his recent weeks with us. Maybe he got a little bit bored of us. I hope this doesn't happen with everyone else we get on the show, mate. But, I mean, he's gone to Colchester. Clearly had enough of talking to you and me. But no, that's his passion. And again, when you speak to people and people are, you know, good enough to come on the pod, you do get an idea of really what drives them. And certainly management, you know, for Danny and Nicky is such a big part of their lives. And I think they've just been waiting for the right opportunity. I think it fits in a little bit better with family side of things, which is important no matter what you say. We heard Tony Mowbray talking about it earlier on, you know, on the pod. But for him to be the best, everything at home has to work also. So, I think for the level that they've gone down to, and you have to say for them, it is a down step from where they have been recently. But what they have got is, you know, hungry, motivated people with a fantastic track record, you know, that I think are going to go in there and really do a good job.
I think logistically it works well for them as well. We know that Danny's daughter has got potential to be a phenomenal player, or is a brilliant player at Chelsea. So for him and his family and Nicky's family, because they are the Cowleys, they come as a package. Yeah. Logistically, Essex really works well for them. But there's potential there, Troy, at the football club. It's been a difficult few seasons for Colchester, but again, this is a club that are playing Championship football 15 years ago, and they've got the ability to do something. Maybe people just need a bit of stability, and maybe they are crying for stability.
Do you know what I think they're crying out for from the outside looking in? Someone to grab hold of it. And the Cowleys really shot as a management team that come in and go, right, bang, this is ours. Give us everything and we'll show you how it should be run, and put their imprint on it straight away. I could be wrong, but that's what I've always seen from the outside looking in. They really get hold of a football club. I think they went down a total football route, probably similar to a lot of other clubs where it's total football with probably not having the best available players to do that, should we say, technically. And then also in League Two, which I found certainly is, you can have all these wonderful passing, all these patterns of play. Can you deal with a corner? Can you deal with a long throw? Can you deal with a big Bradford team, a big Wrexham team that are all 6 foot plus? And I think he'll add a steeliness and a backbone to that will get that club motivated. Hopefully not soon, because I've just looked at the board and we've got him in 2 weeks. So hopefully not.
I bet you're well happy Joe Taylor's moved to Lincoln, because he was firing for them. A really, really good prospect he is on loan from Luton.
I think they have to let them get on with their job. I spoke to Hayden Mullins, who had a bit of time down there previously, and I think maybe more so when you are a young coach or an up-and-coming coach, there's maybe, I won't say interference, but certainly more questions. And I think what you've got...
A lot of opinions, Joe.
Yes, and I think what you've got with the Cowleys are people who have been there, done it. They've got their way, as Troy's just said, but you have to let them go and do their job. And I think if you do that and get control, and they are used to, buying and selling players and agreeing fees, and, maybe that's the bit that's going away from management when you hear of all these head coach roles. So if they're allowed to go and really put their imprint on it and be given that autonomy at the football club, then I think that, that is the best route of success for Colchester United.
I've known about managers staying in hotels when they take jobs, some managers sleeping at training grounds when they take jobs, but I've never heard of a management duo going back to their mum and dad's, sharing a bunk bed. Short term, seeing their kids in Hampshire through the school term, but Nicky on the top bunk and Danny on the bottom. I've never heard of that before.
They need to get out of that situation very quickly. I can't see that aging very well with a few defeats, I've got to say.
Joby, knowing Danny, he's the kind of guy who will wake Nicky up in the morning. Come on, Nick, let's go breakfast. Like, we're ready. You see him, he's just got such like a zest for life, and you got to love him for it. So I can imagine he's well happy.
Oh, listen, he's going in to manage a football club. I don't think he cares where he sleeps, I've got to say. I remember going, when I first went to Reading, actually, my Mrs. Mum's lives in Windsor, so we went and ended up bunking with the mum-in-law and, again, in the spare room. And it's not all glitz and glamour all the time. You get your head down, you do what you got to do, and, you want to go and enjoy your work. And I'm sure the Cowley brothers, no matter where they're sleeping, actually being home, how nice would that be? I'd love to go back and live with my mum.
Are you going to let that Windsor comment? Like, his Mrs. parents are from Windsor. Like, he sounded like he was going to a really hard done-by place. He's like, we stayed in the spare wing.
I can't comment, though.
Don't tell me.
Can I, Jones?
It weren't the Royal Palace, mate, by the way, just so you know, all right?
Troy,
listen,
I can't comment because it's where I live.
That's what I thought. I knew as I said that. I knew it.
Joby, 72 plus, 72 minus. Give us your picks for this week.
There's only one man for 72 plus, Mr. Patrick Bamford. Please take a bow. I mean, this is one of those goals that really you have to watch back and watch back. It stops you in your tracks when you see it first and foremost. And again, to be able to take the ball, I've studied this, right? So not only is it's a bit of a punt up to him, and Troy would appreciate this, I'm sure. We'll get your take on it. But he actually controls the ball with his back to play first and foremost. He's in the air. So to actually take that chest control, swivel, turn onto his left foot and then catch the ball so sweetly and put it into the top corner on the volley. Just an absolute work of art. This was, for me, one of the best goals I think I've ever seen. I'm going to put it up there, definitely in the running for goal of the season territory.
Let's hear it in all its glory with Paul Robinson and Alistair Bruceball.
Bamford chests it down. What a goal! What an unbelievable goal from Patrick Bamford. Chests the ball down, edge of the penalty area, swivels and hits a dipping left foot volley beyond Finn Talley, who could do absolutely nothing about it. A sensational goal from Patrick Bamford to make it Peterborough 0, Leeds 2.
Wow. I remember hearing 606 Peterborough fans phoning in saying that they were applauding it, but the best picture I've seen following that goal is a picture of the steward. Have you seen it, Jobs?
Yes. But it wasn't just him, though. You had Leeds players' hands on head. You had Peterborough players' hands. It was literally one of those wow moments. So it would have been brilliant to be there in the stadium. But truly iconic. It's got to go down as one of the best goals in FA Cup history, surely.
Yeah, but Deeney versus Leicester. Still, that's the for me, mate. Should we just get Paul Robinson's reaction? Can we hear that again? Wow. Love that. The growler, Paul Robinson. Joby, your 72 minus for this week?
The minus has to go down to Cardiff for missing 2 penalties in the space of a few minutes when they were 1-0 down and end up going to lose the game 4-0.
It gives me great pleasure to present the audio of those penalty misses, described eloquently by BBC Radio Wales, Rob Phillips. Come on, Rob.
It's hit right footed, goalkeeper saves. It was an awful penalty, really. It was Ryan Wintle who took it. He holds his head in his hands. It's another Cardiff penalty, this time won by Atete. Callum Robinson takes it. Dawson has saved again. Another dreadful spot kick. How many times can Cardiff waste opportunities?
I love Rob Phillips. Aaron Ramsey cannot return soon enough into that Cardiff City midfield. Football Daily at bbc.co.uk if you have any suggestions or if you just want to tell Jobi that you love him. Troy, you enjoyed it?
Yeah, man, it's all good. You don't understand, like, my anxiety's through the roof right now because I can see my phone ringing there. We are in January. I'm like, if I don't pick this up, this is going to go mad. But I'm with you guys, so I always show you respect.
Love that. Jobs, he can come back, can't he?
Definitely. Again, it's nervous times. He's right. You know, you got to be on call 24/7. This is the bit people don't see. Troy is still in his office at whatever time we're recording this, and it is non-stop. So I wish him the best of luck. Hope he makes it a real success and gets him to safety.
Stop bootlicking.
What, with the boots or not? What do you want? You got to let me know what I'm coming down for.
At this point, yes, Joe, you can still get the boots out, but do an episode.
Aaron, you might have lost another one, mate. You might have lost another one. Your co-pilot, mate.
Don't worry about that. There's plenty more where you come from.
We can get Aaron on the vegan food. We can get you training. It's a podcast in itself. I can see it.
Do you know what? We could make that happen. I think we could make that happen. I mean, Nailsworth is a long way away, but as long as it's not raining,
got it.
I'm happy.
I was in the gym yesterday,
to
remember? In the spa. So listen, if I'm willing to do that, I'm ready. Come on.
That is it for this episode of the Football Daily. The next one will be the Friday Football Social with Darren Fletcher. As for us here on 72+, we'll be back next week. Catch you then.
I'm Mark Chapman, and this is Everton. Nothing will be the same. This is the story of what happened over one of the most difficult and controversial seasons in the club's history.
If we go down, I don't think we'll even exist in 5 years' time.
We've been inside the club, talking to players, coaches and managers.
I had 9.5 years in my previous club. I've probably got 1 book in me. In 4 months here, I've probably got 3.
Everton, nothing will be the same. Listen now on BBC Sounds.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite show? Good news. Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Download the Amazon Music app or visit amazon.com/ad-free sports. That's amazon.com/ad-free sports to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. Enjoy thousands of Acast shows ad-free for Prime members. Some shows may have ads.